Hello, listeners.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Practically Green podcast. We are all about bringing you tips and tricks on how to live more sustainably in an eco-friendly way, but also in a pocket-friendly way. I think that's what we're going with.
Yes,
My name is Eibhlin Fitzpatrick. My background is eco-retailing and also sustainability education.
and I suppose we also want it to be a very fragrant and beautiful and sensual world that we live in, as well as being pocket friendly. I'm Anna Brown. I'm a sustainable educator and a micro flower farmer here in Mullingar, Big Sky Flowers, and we have lots to talk to you about this week. But first, let's catch up, Evelyn. How are you doing? What are you looking forward to this week? What's going on with you?
I'm really good, Anna. I'm really good. This week has been really nice for me. Because I have had the week off, which is lovely. I finished with the shop. For those of you that don't know, I was the owner of the Refill Mill, which is a minimal waste refill shop, and it has since changed hands. And I'm on this week off now, preparing for starting my new job next week, and I'm really, really excited for it. So, yeah, I've just been kind of taking things a little bit slower this weekend, and it's feeling really nice.
That's a pleasant change for you after 4 years of been flat out.
Yeah. I've been off for a few weeks now. Well, I've been technically not working, but there's been loads of things to do. So this is the first week where I've really actually just chilled out, which has been just so nice. I've just switched off completely. It's been lovely.
Any activities worth sharing with our listeners that you did that?
Yeah, well, this week I went to Dublin. I spent the night up in Dublin. I went to a comedy gig in Liberty Hall Theatre. And I went and got some nice tapas food and drank really nice wine and just wandered around the city at my leisure. It was just so lovely. So yeah, I just got back from that last night. Um, and who knows what I'm going to do today.
Great, the world is your oyster.
How have you been?
So I've been good. It's a busy time of the year, March and April, things are starting to grow. So got some spuds planted, lots of seedlings going in, starting to have flowers coming on board now. So the ranunculus and the tunnel are just gorgeous, like little tiny roses. They're really beautiful. So I started my bouquet subscriptions, which is great, or my subscriptions are not really bouquets, they're bunches more than bouquets. And so I have my first delivery to make today to one of the boutiques in town. They've taken on a subscription, so that's great. Female boutique. So they'll have that in their window if you want to see what the flowers look like if you're in Mullingar. And looking forward to seeing more subscriptions come in. I need to kind of promote that. But yeah, it's a nice, easy start. Just to have one and hopefully to ramp it up then for next week and the week after. So yeah, no, it's just seeing the flowers is just that's what I live for. Like there's pretty much 6 months without really any flowers. So now we're in 6 months with the flowers. So it's fabulous. I'm just really enjoying seeing those little I probably can show you one here. So I have, the bouquets in my room and in all the different rooms. So this is the ranunculus. So you remember these from last year, probably.
I think they're my favorite now, Anna, because
Yeah.
you used to bring them into the shop to me all the time, and they made me so happy every time you came in with the flowers. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, they are. They're a lovely one. And they last a really long time in the vase as well. So they're a great one to grow. They'll probably only last until maybe the end of April, maybe a little bit into May. But while they're there, they're just fabulous. I just really love them. So yeah.
I'm appreciating them right now.
Yeah, they're yeah, just lifting the heart to see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with me. Just getting dirty. My nails are down to the bone with dirt underneath them, trying to cut them. I'm on my knees most of the time digging and whatever. But the ground is drying up slightly. I've noticed actually, the back of my house is very wet still. But the front of the house, where I have a few trees growing, well, I had trees growing. I had a lot of hazel growing there, but I've just coppiced it, so it'll be growing again. But the ground is beautiful there. It's just moist enough. It's not like wet and sticky. Because I guess I've been feeding it for a long time. But the trees I think have been pulling up like the moisture. So I think if you have really soggy ground, it's a good thing to plant some trees. I guess I have an apple tree out there and a plum tree. The hazel is coppice, but the plum tree is not. So that's probably helping the levels of water in that ground. And then the summer when it's dry, they'll provide shade, so you'll have less evaporation. So trees are always a good thing to have if you can.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people will know, Anna. You're a micro flower farmer, but you're doing it from your house, aren't you? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
love
suburban garden, just, I mean, it's like by Dublin standards, it's a huge garden. But for the country, I'm not out in the country. I just have, I have neighbors on both sides. So it's not a huge amount of space, but you can grow a lot of flowers in a small amount of space, if you have no lawn. But I have a polytunnel and I have hens as well and lots of fruit trees. So there's a lot going on. If you
it's
look at
not
my
just
social,
flowers. You've got a whole farm out there, Anna. It's
indeed,
brilliant.
yes. So
Compost.
people want to look on the social media to see it, on Big Sky Flowers, on Instagram. There's usually videos of the different parts of it to show what's going on there. You can check out the reels to
Really
see.
an inspiration to see what can be done in like an urban setting. It's brilliant, Anna. So fair play to you.
Thank you. So should we get into the
So
meat
yeah,
of the matter then?
yeah, absolutely. Um, so last week I touched on eco cleaning. I was all about the spring cleaning, and I think I'm gonna stay on that theme this week because I really am trying to encourage people to move away from harsh chemicals. They are not good for our biodiversity. They're not good for our waterways. They're not good for us. So this
They're not
week
even
I'm
good for if you've
gonna
got
focus.
pets in your house or anything like that. Using
Yeah,
those
yeah, or
chemicals. If it's got a dead fish and a dead tree on the thing, I can't imagine that the pets, the dogs and cats are going to be not very happy with it either, or the
no,
children.
and exactly. It's just not good for any of us. And I don't like sounding hippy dippy when I'm doing this stuff, but it's a fact. Um so I don't mind I don't mind sharing. I hate bleach. Chemical chlorine bleach, I hate it. And from having like, my experience of this is people really love use not that they love using bleach. Some people do. Some people love the smell of it. I can't stand it. But some people love just the effects of bleach. So I am here today to say that there is alternatives for that. And what I use is a thing called oxygen bleach, or you can hear it as green bleach or sodium percarbonate, and it's brilliant. It's a brilliant alternative for getting stains out of clothes, but also for cleaning your toilet, cleaning your drains, that kind of thing. It's basically a type of salt that it's a powder, and you mix it with hot water, and it activates it, and it works the exact same way as regular bleach, except it's not harmful to the environment. And I think that's a good place to kind of start with moving towards environmentally friendly cleaning as well. You use it as well, don't you, Anna?
So
Or
I
do
actually, you know what? I have to say I'm embarrassed now. I actually do. I use normal bleach, and I'm going to stop.
oh, Anna?
Um, I know, very, very
No
bold.
judgment, no judgment.
No, but anyhow, well, as long as I learn and move on, that's the main thing, right? So let me just ask you a few questions then. So when I would normally put in some of that horrible bleach into my washing machine for my whites, I
Yeah.
can add a few scoops of sodium percarbonate instead.
Yeah, exactly. So you can buy sodium percarbonate in most eco shops at this point. Eco cleaning has become a huge thing, so everybody's getting on board with it, which is great. But sodium percarbonate, you can buy it in a sachet, or if it's a refill shop, you can refill your containers with it. And it's just a powder, and you just mix it with. So what I do is I mix it with hot water. It's supposed to be activated in water over 50 degrees. So if I've just made a cup of tea, I'll pour some water into another cup. I have a bleach cup, and I'll just use that for my cleaning then for the day. So you have to use it on the day that you activate it. But yeah, you just pour like maybe 50 mils of it, or something, into the washing machine. So I just mix 2 tablespoons of the bleach, mix it up with some hot water, and then pour that into the washing machine, straight into the where your detergent goes. And it works brilliant, Anna. It's really, really good. For tougher stains, you're better off to pre-soak. So sometimes I'll just leave them pre-soaking in the sink overnight, actually. Or I'll put them in a basin for a couple of hours and then just wash them out. But for that's for the tougher stains. For generally whitening your clothes, you can just put it straight into the machine. And also, oh, I've lost my train of thought there where I was
So
going
for
with that.
so for if we're talking about the toilets then, so the other place
Yeah,
that bleach gets used in my house would be the toilet. So same
yeah,
thing, just put it in a cup, some hot water, and just swish it around the bowl. And I bet that cup that you use for bleach has got no tea stains at all in it. There's no like because
No, and
because
I
one
was
of the things
so
that people
delighted. The first time I put them into the sink I just had a lot of clothes and I've quite a deep sink, so I just put a lot of them into the sink, and I was so chuffed the next day. My sink was sparkling. I was just so, and I took no elbow grease whatsoever. It was brilliant. Um, but I remember what I was going to say. Usually bleach will damage your clothes if you put it onto like colors or whatever. That's not the case with oxygen bleach or with green
oh,
bleach.
great.
Put them in with your color clothes, it doesn't matter. It actually it said that it can enhance the colors of your clothes. I haven't noticed that, to be honest with you, but yeah, you can remove stains from them without damaging the clothes in any way. It's really really good. So that's a nice alternative for
Right.
looking to change, and you can use it for unblocking drains, all that kind of stuff. Whatever you would use regular bleach for, you can use this for. So that's one alternative for people if they want to switch it up a little bit with their cleaning routine.
And then of course there's the as we get into the summery, sunnier days, there's the old line drying.
Yeah, good old fashioned sun can do an awful lot for removing stains and for brightening clothes. So yeah, this time of year I try well, usually I use the clothes first anyway, but for this time of year it's brilliant to get the clothes out on the line. Um and I find that that does really help with the whites. Like it really really does bleach them, which is natural. Like the sun is a natural bleach anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like you don't want your black denim necessarily out in the sun for too long because that'll ruin that. But yeah, for your whites, definitely. And I suppose the other thing is that the sunshine kills the bacteria, any kind of germs and stuff. It's really, really good for your clothes to get out there from a health point of view and, gets rid of anything that might be in them. So that's definitely worth doing. And the
Yeah,
smell, I think, of line dried clothes and the feel is
yeah,
just, yeah.
yeah.
Getting into a bed with sheets that have been dried on the line is one of the nicest things in the summer.
I think so as well. It's just so I don't know, you're bringing the outside in.
Yeah.
It's
And you
always nice.
see that there's, I mean, this probably more in America than it is here in Ireland, but there's places where people are not allowed to hang their clothes outside. I think in apartment buildings in Dublin, that's the case as well, that they're not supposed to hang their
Really.
clothes outside. And that's, to me, that seems criminal in this day and age, that they've been forced to use dryers and,
Yeah,
use up all the fossil fuels that are involved in that when they could actually have things dried naturally outside. So,
no sense.
I mean, that's just kind of like the whole argument about, are dandelions good or bad? Is clothes hanging out on a line good or bad? It's neither. It's a social construct that we have been trained to think that clothes hanging out is something that means that you're kind of poor or there's something, wrong. You're morally bad. When
Yeah.
in fact, you're at this point in time and with the climate crisis, you're morally good to hang your clothes, and you should be looking at that saying, God, well done, people. That's an excellent thing to be doing. So
Yeah. 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 It just makes it's kind of a no brainer for me. I can't understand why people would be annoyed about it, but I suppose it doesn't look as pretty.
well, I mean, but once again, that looking pretty, that's just something that we've been trained to think is a
Sure.
social construct. The clothes looking on a line to me now looks like a person is smart and sensible and, is doing things in a very earth friendly way. And that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
So that's an easy switch. That's another one that's costs nothing. That's
yeah,
an easy.
we got rid of our dryer a couple of years ago. It broke and we just never replaced it. But when people have, young kids, when I had young kids, I couldn't have lived without the dryer. There was
Yeah.
laundry, there was constant dirt and vomiting and everything else.
Yeah.
And, but now that my kids are grown up and, they have to do their own laundry. So there's no dryer in our house. So we either do the clothes horse inside or put it out in the line outside. So yeah, but I anybody that needs to use a dryer with small kids or with lots of mess, I wouldn't condemn that at all. But if you can, absolutely, um, do it.
And I don't feel like we're judgmental, and I hope that people get that message from the way that we speak. Like I don't judge people if they have um like bad habits, like, or if they're doing things that aren't necessarily environmentally friendly, because nobody's perfect. Nobody can do everything right all of the time. It's all about small things that you can do and the power in making those small changes. There's no judgment. Even like, you just said you use bleach. I don't, that's okay. Do you know,
And I
but
mean, that was from ignorance as much as anything else. So now I'm informed. So that's not going to be on the shopping list anymore. So when it's gone, it's gone.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Don't want to be killing those fish. I mean, I don't want to be hurting the waterways. I don't want to be affecting things. I don't want to be messing up septic systems. So, yeah. So that's good. Um, so maybe I'll talk now about my little alternative, or it's not even an alternative. It's something that I like to do this time of the year because I'm not quite into salad production yet in the garden. I'm not quite there, but I do like to have a few fresh greens. So I like to grow pea sprouts and I grow them. I buy a bag of marifat peas, not the fast ones, the traditional ones, the ones that need the soaking. I soak them overnight and I put them into a little plastic container with some compost and let them grow. And then when they start to grow kind of about whatever, 4 or 5 inches long, I'll cut them off not to the very base because they'll grow again if I cut them above uh, a bud. But they're very nice for salads. They're very nice for sandwiches that you can cook. I mean, they have that kind of pea taste to them, and we're not quite at the fresh pea stage yet. So that's something that I like to do. And actually, I'll be teaching a course about all this kind of stuff, microgreens and sprouts and shoots in Cuiga on the 14th of April, which is
brilliant.
a week and a bit away. So we better get this episode out before that comes on. So people want to
Yeah.
come and it's sponsored by Creative Westmeath, so it's very inexpensive. It's only a tenner to come. And you'll go home with lots of equipment that you can use because I've got lots of things that you can recycle to turn into sprouting things and lots of information and lots of tasting on the day as well. We'll taste all the different shoots and sprouts that I'll do in advance. So that should
Brilliant.
be a fun one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one to know. I'll try and make it to that one because I've never done like microgreens. I've never tried that before. So that'd be an interesting one to have. That you can just do that in your windowsill, can't you? You don't need it.
absolutely. I mean, it's a great one if you have no land, if you've just got an apartment, all you need
Hmm.
is a bit of sunshine. In fact, for the shoots, you want them to do it in the dark, so you don't even need a window. Like the kind of shoots that you buy when you're getting Chinese food, the kind of the bean sprouts, I suppose they're
Yeah.
not shoots, they're sprouts. You can do that without having any light at all. So we'll be covering that. And you can buy them, but it's nice to have them that you've done them yourself and you know what went into them. There's nothing sprayed to keep them well or anything. So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's yeah, I hope to see you at that, Evan. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be lovely, Anna. I'd like to. And Cougar's Studios is such a nice place to be in anyway. So it'd be lovely to go and attend a workshop there. Anna, brilliant. Add it
Yeah,
to the diary.
great. Good stuff. Cool. All right. So, we want to talk about cold water swimming a little bit now. Um, we always talk about experiences, not stuff. That's one of the things we really love to talk about is, don't spend the money on stuff to clutter up your house.
Yeah,
Have an experience, which you did in Dublin last night or the night before. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think experiences are a huge part of what makes us happy. So, you introduced me to cold water swimming, Anna,
I
and I
did.
thank you for that. I was cursing you for a little while, but no, actually, from the first day that I did it, I thought it was incredible, incredible. So I haven't been in a little while. I'm getting back in the water tomorrow, actually.
Right,
For
you've
the
got a date,
first
have
time.
you? A swim date.
Yeah, I've got a swim date lined up tomorrow.
Very
But
good.
you're very experienced. Why don't you talk a
Well,
little bit?
now I'm not. I'm like there's people who are way more experienced than I am, but I have been doing it for 2019, I think I started. And I wouldn't do it. I'd probably get in once a week
Mhm.
minimum, maybe a little bit more, maybe twice a week. There's been times I've done it more often, there's times I do it less often, but at the moment, like we're very lucky. We have all these amazing lakes beside us here in the Midlands. We have Lough Ennel, Lough Oul, Lough Lane, Lough Dervar, not so much, not such a great one for dipping, but the other three are really good. So there's a place called the diving board at Lough Oul, which is where I go. And right now, the water levels are really high. There's kind of a jetty going out to a diving board, and that's generally quite far above the water. But right now, the water is kind of licking at the top of that. The lake is very full, which is very good from us from a kind of point of view of we have enough water to drink. That's our drinking water lake in Mullingar here. So unless things go very wrong for us during the summer and we've drought, we're good this year for drinking water. And just for me, there's a social aspect because I go swim with other people. I wouldn't go swimming on my own. I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
So it's nice, you have this kind of shock of getting in. There's a bit of kind of screaming goes on, and I would be staying in at the moment for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to the maximum if somebody kind of distracts me from the cold with a bit of chat. But in general, yeah, it's just a lovely thing to do, and I suppose there's a kind of a mind over matter thing going on there. So taking off, it's not even getting in the water, it's taking off your clothes by the side of the lake. You've come down the hill, you take off your clothes, you strip down to your swimsuit, and maybe you have some wetsuit booties or some gloves, some neoprene gloves, and
Yeah.
then you're walking around like that, which is not something you'd normally do at this time of the year. And then you get in the water, and then that's even worse. But yeah, no, it's a very zen, I suppose, very much focuses you in the moment. You don't think anything else, kind of breathing and being in the water. But yeah, it's a great experience, and it's totally free. And we're so lucky now. We have so much clean water. I'm hoping to go into the sea now on Monday with some friends. And that's this time of the year now, the sea is warmer than the lake. Later
Yeah.
on in the summer, the lakes heat up a bit faster, so they get a bit warmer. It's not a huge amount. I mean, by international standards, we're never warm enough to swim here in Ireland, but we do it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah, so you're planning a dip tomorrow, is that what you said?
yeah, I'm planning a dip tomorrow. I'm gonna probably go out to Lockwood tomorrow. Um, but I find Anna like I didn't think that I was going to like it. I remember you asking me to come out on I think it was Stevenson's Day a couple of years ago, and I was thinking she's mad, no way. But you got me in October, October 2 years ago. It wasn't last year; it was the year before, and it was the best thing. I just found, I'm somebody who's generally quite busy. My mind races quite a lot, and I find it very difficult to calm my mind. What I found is getting in the lake, you can be nothing but present. Like you are for those few moments, it is just you and your breath, and it's stunning. The scenery, I think, doesn't matter what the weather is. It looks the lake is stunning. So it's always been a really nice way for me to calm down. But you're talking about getting in is one of the fun parts. I think getting out is one of the fun parts because your skin is so tingly. Like, it's just such a weird sensation where it's freezing cold outside and everybody else is kind of wrapped up and you're running around. Like, I run around a little bit after the lake because I just feel so free.
Great,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really, really like exhilarating experience. I think everybody should try it. But I was one of those people that thought that people that got in the lake were mad, but it
Yeah,
should
I'm married to one of those people. I haven't
be.
converted him. I probably will never convert him. In
Yeah.
fact, he's gotten in like into a pool when we've been out foreign in warm areas, and he's actually
Yeah.
got hypothermia from being in the pool. So
No.
he's probably not cut out for cold water dipping, but that's okay. As
Yeah.
long as he watches me from the side and keeps me safe, then I don't mind. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to get in.
Yeah. Very important to have your safety person there to go dip
Indeed.
somebody. You never go on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our recommendation for this week for
Mm.
some experience that you can hopefully, if you're near any kind of body of water and you can find people equally mad. This probably isn't the best time to start. Maybe if you waited until May or June when things start to warm up. I mean, October is a great time to start because there's still a lot of residual heat in the water from the
Yeah.
summer. Um, but if you start in July, you're probably not going to get the full effect of the cold. There's people I know who say, "Oh, the water's too warm now." When we get
Yeah.
to summer, so like the whole
Yeah.
thrill of it for them is the extreme cold.
Yeah.
I still like it when it's warm. I like it anytime.
It's a different experience. It's still
It's a
lovely.
different,
Be
yeah,
in the water
yeah,
for an awful lot longer in the summer. It's lovely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I suppose if you want to find out more, there's probably lots of Instagrams that you can follow, but cold water swimming and things around Ireland that you can find out. We'll stick some in the show notes, I think, of what people want to see. Generally,
Absolutely.
there's groups anywhere locally that you can find that'll be happy to welcome you in
Yeah.
to swim with. People are always happy to help new people who want to start um, dipping. So if you want to get started on that or you want to carry on, and I suppose if you're doing it in the winter, it is good to have wetsuit booties and gloves, which are not that expensive. But a whole wetsuit actually is not a good idea because they're so hard to take off. So you're only in the water for 2 minutes, and then you probably spend like the next half hour trying to get the wetsuit off. So I wouldn't recommend those. But some people need them. That's fine. Like there's no judgment here. Once you get in, you get in.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I have to have the little booties. I just think that makes
Yeah,
all the difference. Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not walking on sore things either.
Yeah,
You're
exactly. Yeah.
protected.
A
So
little bit of protection. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
yes, we move on to recommendation then, Evelyn, will we?
Absolutely.
So this
Um,
this week it's kind of a funny recommendation because it's the business that Eibhlin was running for the last 4 years, which we heard a great people have been actually messaging me from around the world saying, "Oh, I hear the refill mill is starting up again." So Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
people that would have followed our lives that would have seen, we're very excited that the Wayfield is not, the phoenix is rising from the ashes, I suppose.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, the refill mill, I mentioned it earlier a little bit, but it's a minimal waste refill shop where the whole idea of it is promoting the circular economy. It's encouraging people to bring their own containers to refill them. With it's a lot of dried foods. It's got cleaning supplies and personal care supplies, so you can get your washing up liquid. You can bring in your washing up liquid bottle and keep refilling it. My washing up liquid bottle is now 4 years old. I'm very proud of it. It's still going strong. And then it promotes loads of Irish businesses as well. So lots of handmade Irish goods in there as well. And I started it in 2020, and after 4 years of it, I was pretty much on my own in there, and it was time for me to kind of move on. And Kim Darby, from a lot of people would know her from Yoga Head Studio or Kim Darby Yoga. She's decided that she's going to take it on now, which is just so exciting. So it's going to be, I'm so
Yay,
grateful.
Kim, yay, Kim.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it's dream come true that, my biggest thing was not me leaving a shop. It was that the shop was going to close and that the community was going to lose that service. So that was huge for me, to make that decision. It was the hardest part of it.
You had
So
customers coming in and crying, didn't you?
yeah, I did. I did. I did not expect the response to it closing. Like, I knew that some people would be upset about it and things like that, but I didn't think the scale of that upset. Like, really, people were surprising me, the people that were crying, which meant I spent, like, 2 weeks in there crying on a daily basis because it was saying goodbye to customers that I've, really built a really great relationship with. So now I get to go back in and be a customer in there, and I'm thrilled for that. And I get to do yoga there. Kim is going to have, so downstairs is going to stay the refill mill, but upstairs, which I had as my storeroom, Kim is turning that into a yoga studio and a creative space for workshops and for art and for music. So she's really taken what I started and just bringing it to the next level. So I can't wait to see what she does with it.
It's
So
great. I mean, I was walking around the house before I knew about Kim and thinking, oh, I'm going to have to buy a new washing up liquid bottle now. I'm going to, and even the sodium percarbonate question we came to earlier, where am I
yeah,
going to get that? Well, I'm going to get it in the refill mill when it reopens. So, yeah, so that's, just it's, I suppose, and for a lot of people, if you're used to going there and getting, it's quite nice to get things refilled and to kind of have a nice jar for your black beans and know that you can refill the black beans without having any plastic involved in that.
yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
incredible the amount of waste that you can prevent from coming into your home. Like, it really is. I always say, but I had a customer in there that she's got a family of, there's 6 of them, and she used to put her bin out, recycling bin out every week, and then for building the shopping habits in from the refill mill, she now puts it out once every 6 weeks, and
wow.
that's a huge waste reduction. So I think it's really possible, and it's not very expensive. There is a bit of a price difference on some things, but some things are higher quality and some things are cheaper in there. So um I definitely think people should give it a try.
I think
And
with all the
delivers an
organic options as well, because everything that was sold was organic, so that made a difference. I think you were paying a little bit more, but you actually, if you were to buy those things in the regular shop, you'd have to buy larger quantities. Maybe you wouldn't use them, and yeah, it would cost you more possibly in the end.
like the washing up liquid itself, like the regular 500 ml fairy liquid bottle was €2 to refill. So it's not crazy
No,
prices.
no.
But yeah, so Kim will be taking that over on the 22nd of April. She's opening it on Earth Day. So I encourage everybody to go and support her, please. I would love to see this continuing on for years to come. It'd be really nice to have it as part of the community in Mullingar for a long time.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So yes, and I'll be. I mean, I hopefully will be doing some workshops in there. I was just actually talking to Kim about doing some jam jar flower workshops in June. I'm kind of booked up for April and May, but we'll get something in the calendar for June, and that's kind of an obvious one to do initially, to do that, because that's always a fun one to bring in. I bring in lots of flowers, wildflowers, ones I've grown, and people get to make beautiful arrangements with them, each
Yeah,
one unique as the person themselves. So yeah,
exactly. I always love your jam jar flower arranging classes because you bring in the same materials for everybody, and each arrangement ends up being totally different to the next. I just think that's brilliant. Like how creative
Yeah,
people.
and I suppose sometimes florists teach people there's a formula, and
Mhm.
it's not a formula. I teach them some kind of principles, and then they're up to them how they use those principles to make something that, is what their choice is what they want to do. So yeah. And of
Absolutely.
course all the flowers are, they're not straight up and down like soldiers. They're all kind of like very creative and wonky and, kind of interesting curves in them. So yeah, you couldn't make two things the same if you even tried, I think.
Which is the beauty of it, and I think that's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So then we're on to our seasonal stuff, Evelyn.
Yeah. So I'm relying on you to tell me, Anna, what's in season at the minute.
This is kind of from a food point of view,
Yeah.
we're talking. So, if you were trying to buy Irish veg, possibly the people who are selling them would still have the root veg left over, like they would have stored them. They would have, and actually, in some cases, you can leave the root veg in the ground till you want to use it. So things like beetroot and parsnips and turnips and carrots, things like that, and potatoes are absolutely still in season. But we're starting, because we get a bit more light, we're starting to see some green. So things like purple sprouting broccoli would be absolutely in season now. And if you have got that growing in your garden, you're picking it and it's coming and coming. So that's a really nice one, like the kind of tender stem, or the not so much the big, like the cauliflower one. It's the kind of the small ones, and they're very easy to cook. You just give them a very light steaming in the microwave or in the steamer, and they're very tasty. I've been having them in salads, so with some greens as well. So yeah, there's probably a lot of, people growing in tunnels would have lots of greens at the moment. They'd have lots of very tender spring greens, and so lots of leafy things like chard and things like that. Kale would be in season. And I suppose, if you've frozen things, you have them. Wild garlic and the three-cornered leek, they're kind of both, they're similar. They're garlicky tasting, they're greens. Do I give you some of the three-cornered leek, Evelyn?
No, you didn't give me leek, Anna. You gave me some of your wild garlic hummus, and it was delicious.
Oh, very
Absolutely.
good. So
Yeah.
that's just basically a hummus, and then I add in a load of well, it's the one I have. I don't have the classic wild garlic. I have one that's a three-cornered leek that tastes,
Okay.
so it's garlicky flavored, but it's it's actually an invasive plant, and I wouldn't be giving anyone some to plant, but unless they had like a very large area. But it's growing in my behind my tunnel, and it's fairly well contained there. And the more that I pick of it and eat of it, the better, from the point
Yeah.
of view of not spreading too much. But yeah, it is. I mean, I make pesto with it as well, and there's some people I know that are addicted to the wild garlic pesto. So it's or the three-cornered leek pesto. So it's a great thing to have, and if you can find some wild garlic, I wouldn't be digging it up. I think that's protected. I think you're not supposed to, but you can certainly take, a small proportion of the leaves would be fine to take if you're foraging.
Yeah.
But when I'm foraging outside, I'm taking as much as I can because I want to try and keep it from getting too strong and taking over the whole garden.
Yeah.
There's a pretty little white flower now coming, which I wouldn't put that in bouquets because it'll smell of garlic, but it's a nice one to decorate your food with, to put in a salad. So yeah,
Lovely.
that's kind of what's in season right now.
Nice
I
to
mean,
use
there's
the whole
no,
flower. That's really
sorry,
nice. Sorry, that's really nice to use the whole flower in the salads and everything. That's really
it's
a nice.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, not everybody would think doing that, Anna.
Well, it's one of those things, like it doesn't really add that much nutritionally, but visually it makes your food look very posh. You think you're having a very fancy dinner. So
Very
why
nice.
not,
Yeah.
you're going to spend a lot of money to have something fancy. So, and
Yeah.
that's our theme, right? Is to have a kind of a very nice, fragrant, attractive, tasty life, but not like necessarily spend a lot or cost the earth to do it. So the flowers from the wild garlic would certainly be a good way to do that, to make something that's nice. Yeah. So
Yeah.
is that it?
So
Is that it for us this week? Is that
yeah, I think we've run through everything that we wanted to talk about, Anna. It was such a lovely chat. I really, really enjoyed it. I see the sun is shining in, and I'm here drinking a cup of tea, and this was lovely. So I really enjoyed this episode. I hope our
yes?
listeners do as well.
I hope they do too. And so we'd encourage you to subscribe on the different channels, leave reviews, leave us comments, tell us what you think. We're interested in to hearing what you have to say. We're hoping to get this out every second week. We'll do our best. We'll see how things go when Evelyn starts her new job, if she's able for it. And
Yeah,
even if I'm able for it, if things pick up for me, if I'm out on my hands and knees the whole time. So we'll just
yeah,
play it by ear and see how we get on. and see if people, if people are responding to it as well as, if nobody wants to listen to it, then why are
Yeah,
we bothering?
that'll be a telltale. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, if you did enjoy listening to us chatting here, then do everything Anna just said. Subscribe, leave comments. We'd love to have some feedback on it, and we'd love to hear about what you want us to talk about as well. And if you've got local recommendations, um, include them as well. We'd love to hear about them as well.
Yes, indeed. So we
Yeah.
say bye for now.
Bye, guys.